So here's a little thing that I'm calling frame jumping right now. As you might know, changing your frames in Shadowrun can lead to different properties for certain things. Like, for example, past 85 frames per second, the minigun starts shooting slower. Here's how it works with jumping. So, as you can see, I'm at 160 frames per second right now, and this is how high I can jump. It's impossible to get from this point to, or from main bridge to upper deck at 163 frames per second, but let's go all the way down to 5 frames per second. Look at how high I'm jumping now.
Artifact returned.
Insane. And you can use the lower frames, transition over to the higher frames to get onto the ledge. Let me show you what that looks like. So to replicate that, as soon as you see the jump bloom, like that, you know, from your jump, when you're in the lower frames, you're going to swap over to the higher frames, like this. And it'll give you a lot more control over yourself in the air, obviously, because you have higher frames. I think doing it on the Ascension might help with shooting you up a little bit. Like, it'll make the process faster, but it'll also make your descent faster. So, you know, you need to be careful with that. But just doing this from standing still isn't very practical. You're not going to be able to pull that off in a ranked game or competitive game without getting lit up by, you know, whoever's up here rifling or anywhere else. So I found one reliable way to do this with movement, and it starts at the center of the main bridge here. As soon as you get to the center of the main bridge, you're going to go down to 5 frames per second. You're going to spam the A button, because at lower frames, your inputs will get eaten or not registered. So you start spamming the jump button as soon as you go to the lower frames. And once you see that jump bloom, you're going to swap to the higher frames, and it should look like something like this. Boom. You get up there, nice and easy. You can do it from both sides because you're just using the middle as a guide point. There's going to be so many different applications that this has for the game and movement in general when it comes to tele jumping, jump tallying. There's going to be certain scenarios where you can save essence by just doing a frame jump, and I've tried this. The timing's a little weird to get like the perfect, you know, tele frame jump or whatever you want to call it, but you can get some ridiculous distances that will lead you to taking fall damage. So I don't know what this is going to lead to, but this is just the beginning, and it's pretty easy to do. I'm using MSI, Afterburner, or River Tuner to change from 5 FPS to 163 FPS. I'm using my left pinky while I'm holding a controller, like hitting buttons on my keyboard. Obviously that isn't good. There's got to be a way that we can map this to the controller. In fact, I know that there is, but I'm just not familiar with that. So go out there, break it, map it to your controller. Let's start using this and seeing where we can take the movement in the game.